In the sun-drenched village of Kijiji Kimoha, where goats argued with chickens and mangoes dropped on unsuspecting heads like natural grenades, lived a group of children whose idea of unity was agreeing to disagree loudly. There was Juma, the self-proclaimed leader of the group because he once climbed a mango tree faster than anyone else, though he fell and lost a front tooth, which he proudly displayed like a war medal. Then there was Akiang, clever with words and quick with comebacks. Next came Kamau, who was always hungry and carried boiled maize in his pockets like sacred treasure. Fatuma, the peacemaker, had the patience of 10 grandmothers and a voice so calm it could hush a thunderstorm. And finally, the youngest, little Todi, who spoke mostly in riddles and often wore one shoe for mysterious reasons known only to herself. These 5 ruled the dusty paths of Kijiji Kimoha like tiny emperors. But unity, oh no, they argued about everything: the best hide-and-seek spots, who was the fastest runner, and whether eating sugarcane with the skin on was a crime. One hot afternoon, as the village dozed under the shade of acacia trees and old men played bow under the watchful eyes of gossiping aunties, a mysterious visitor arrived, with a problem. Old Mama Binti, a revered chicken farmer whose hens were fatter than village secrets, hobbled into the village square shouting, "Disaster! Tragedy! Catastrophe! The chickens are gone!" The villagers gasped. "They escaped?" asked Mazi-Oti, adjusting his cap. "No," Mama Binti wailed. "Someone, or something, stole my prize chickens last night. And left behind this." She held up a suspiciously large footprint, traced in charcoal on a piece of old maize sack. A hush fell over the square. Juma's eyes gleamed. "This is our moment." Akiang crossed her arms. "Our moment to do what?" "Roast invisible chicken. To become heroes," Juma declared. "To solve the mystery of the missing chickens." Kamau perked up. "And if we find them, do we get to eat one?" Fatuma sighed. "Only you would think of food during a crisis." "I'm just being practical," Kamau said, pulling a boiled cob from his pocket. So, with dramatic flair and zero plan, the 5 children began the great chicken chase of Kijiji Kimoha. They followed the clue, the oversized footprint. Todi examined it like a detective from a TV show none of them were allowed to watch. "This footprint is fake," she declared. "How do you know?" Akiang asked. "Because it smells like Mama Binti's cooking pot." They sniffed. She was right. So now, the suspect wasn't a monster. It was someone smart enough to throw off the villagers with pot-scented footprints. The plot thickened like undiluted ugali. The children agreed, temporarily, to split up. Split up. Fatuma frowned. "But what if the thief catches one of us? Then the rest can run faster," Juma said, not helping. So off they went. Juma and Todi followed the trail of scattered feathers toward the banana grove. Akiang interrogated the village dogs with serious expressions and biscuits. Kamau wandered toward the market in case any chicken ended up as a suspicious stew. Fatuma, she went to the old well, where secrets loved to hide. Hours passed. Chickens, still gone. Suspects, zero. Unity, even worse. At sunset, they reconvened under the old baobab tree, sweaty, dusty, and thoroughly chicken-less. "This is hopeless," Akiang muttered. "I think I interrogated myself by mistake," said Todi. "I found some fried chicken at the market, but no one would confess," Kamau added, chewing thoughtfully. Juma slumped. "We need a new plan." Fatuma, quiet all day, finally spoke up. "Maybe the problem is that we're all running in different directions." A moment of silence. Then Juma asked, "You saying it's my fault?" "No," Fatuma said gently. "I'm saying we're not a team. We're just 5 noisy people who sometimes walk in the same direction." That stung, mostly because it was true. "But if we really worked together," Fatuma continued, "shared our clues, listened to each other, acted like one mind instead of 5 wild monkeys." "Hey," Juma said, "I resemble that remark." They laughed, a small laugh, but the first real one all day. "So," Akiang said slowly, if we become like a chicken finding machine? Exactly. Fatuma beamed. Like Power Rangers, but for poultry? Kamau asked. Or like an army of one brain, with many legs, Todi added. Gross, but the point stood. So they regrouped, shared everything they knew. Akieng's biscuits had lured one of the dogs to bark near the mango shed. Juma and Todi had seen fresh feathers near the abandoned school latrine. Kamau admitted that the fried chicken at the market had an unusual green ribbon, the same ribbon Mama Binti used to tie her chickens. They huddled like scheming squirrels. Then, with whispered plans and a makeshift map drawn in maize flour, they launched Phase 2, Unity Mode activated. That night, under the moonlight, they set their trap. Akieng and Kamau pretended to argue loudly by the latrine, which wasn't hard. Juma and Fatuma hid behind the banana grove, holding a big basket. Todi, she stood on a tree branch with a whistle, playing the lookout and occasionally singing to herself. Minutes passed. Then, rustle, creak, a figure moved in the shadows. The children tensed. A trap was sprung. A chicken squawked. A basket dropped. A loud scream pierced the night. Ayayaya, let me go. Let me go. The thief, or rather, thieves, were caught. And to everyone's shock, it was none other than the Mwamba twins, notorious for skipping school and once trying to sell mud as chocolate. We didn't steal them, the twins cried. We borrowed chickens. Akieng scoffed. For what? A tea party. For a business idea, the twins said, puffing their chests. We were starting a chicken circus. The children blinked. A circus? Juma asked. Yes. Dancing chickens. Jumping chickens. Chickens on stilts. Silence. Quote. Did it work? Todi asked. No. Chickens hate stilts, one twin admitted. Back in the village square the next morning, Mama Binti wept tears of joy as her chickens returned, slightly confused but unharmed. The villagers gathered to celebrate. Mazoti chuckled. Well done, young ones. You've shown us what happens when we work together. Mama Binti nodded. Unity is like chicken soup, it makes everything better. From that day on, the children were known not just as the noisiest, or the most mischievous, but as the united force of Kijiji Kimoha. Sure, they still argued, especially about whether mangoes were better than bananas, but now they did it with laughter and teamwork. They learned that alone, they could cause chaos, but together, they could chase down even the cleverest chicken thief. And as for the Mwamba twins, they opened a comedy show called Circus of the Chickenless, where the highlight act was them failing to juggle eggs. It was an instant hit. The village never forgot the great chicken chase, and to this day, they say, when the children of Kijiji Kimoha unite, even the chickens salute. If you find this video helpful and motivational, please like, share and subscribe to my YouTube, TikTok and Facebook page platform. You will find the links in the description of the video below. Thanks for watching and let's meet in our next video.